Hello chums, and welcome to Gran Turismo 7 Weirdness, a series of short videos on tips, tricks and random bits of information on Gran Turismo 7's various quirks. In today's video, I'll be exploring why some cars have obscenely low performance point ratings despite their actual performance being rather good. The short version is that the game thinks the car has a low top speed. Now here's the long version. Performance point ratings take multiple things into account. Obviously. Power, weight, downforce, the width of the tyres, effectiveness of the brakes, to name a few. One of those things is the theoretical top speed of the car. However, the game has a slight shortfall in this regard. As you may know, you can fit multiple transmission types to your car, from preset close ratio transmissions to customizable manual or sequential gearboxes, and changing from one transmission to the other will affect the performance point rating of your car. Back when Gran Turismo 7 was new, adjusting the gear ratios on the custom transmissions would also affect the performance point rating of the car. However, after a few particularly cheeky buggers managed to adjust the gear ratios to trick the algorithm into giving the Dodge Tomahawk a sub 600 point rating to sail through the awful Tokyo race, this was removed. As a result, adjusting gear ratios no longer makes a difference to the rating. This means that no matter how you adjust the gearbox, the algorithm only takes into account the car's top speed with the gear ratios in their default settings. Now, a lot of lower powered cars have close ratios with low top speeds to make up for their lack of power, but as you add certain power upgrades, you increase the rev limit, which effectively extends the gear ratios. Where the performance point algorithm gets particularly confused is when we start using engine swaps. Take this Volvo 240 as an example. When fully upgraded on its standard engine, it revs to 8,400 RPM, and with the custom transmission in its default settings, the gears top out at 231 km per hour, or 143 miles per hour. It's not quite as fast as the car can go, but it's close enough to give a mostly accurate performance point rating. Now, let's take a look at the Volvo 240 with its 7.8 litre turbo V8 engine swap. The engine revs to 7,500 RPM, nearly 1,000 less than the standard engine, which means that despite having the same gear ratios, the top speed of each ratio is less. So, without adjustments, this transmission will top out at 207 km per hour, or 128 miles per hour. So, no matter what you do with the engine-swapped Volvo 240, the performance point rating system will always think the car will be bouncing off the rev limiter at roughly 128 miles per hour, which results in an extremely small PP. Ironically, if we fit the standard transmission to the car, which has very wide gear ratios, the car jumps up to 750 performance points, because the game now thinks that the car can hit 317 km per hour, or nearly 200 miles per hour. So, the common thread here is engine swaps that have a lower rev limit than the standard engine, and thus shorter gears. I've compiled a small list of cars that are more obviously affected by this than others, though I will have missed some out. The Mercedes 190e starts with a high-revving 4-cylinder and goes to a big V8, resulting in a roughly 20 performance point drop despite gaining nearly 200 horsepower. The S13 Silvia only gains 10 performance points despite having quite literally 4 times the power. The C10 and C110 Skylines have more or less the same ratings with their engine swaps as without, despite nearly double the power. Fitting a Suzuki Cappuccino with a tuned rotary engine results in under 600 performance points despite performance on par with 750 point machines. The Toyota Hiace doesn't drop points with its engine swap, but its fully customizable transmission has abnormally short ratios, meaning the 1200 horsepower swap has less than 600 points. Both of the GC8 Imprezas rev to nearly 10,000 on standard engines, but the engine swaps only go to about 7,000. As a result, these cars have less than 700 points despite nearly 800 horsepower and 4-wheel drive. Just about anything with a K24 option will also drop once the engine is swapped. This includes the Auto Bianchi A112, all of the Hondas that have K24 swaps, and the Suzuki Jimny Sierra. So, that was a quick guide explaining why certain cars have a weirdly small PP, just like me. Wait, hang on. I hope you found this video enjoyable or helpful. Please consider liking, subscribing, and touching my bell so that you get notified of my future uploads. It'll make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Take care of yourself, and ta-ra.